one has been out for how long, and it's an unfinished fucking product. It's been out for like almost it's been out for like a while, and here you are supporting fucking game developers who don't even finish their fucking game, you stupid fucking emerging nerd. When are you gonna get your dick wet, faggot? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first guest episode of the Pottymouth Podcast. I'm your host, Rapthrax, and I'm here joined by the legendary Mr. Buntyking. Say hello.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. Or thank you guys for having me.
All right, and my co-host that does not need an introduction, but will be given one anyways, Jeffrey Dahmer's retarded more inbred than a fucking sandwich stepbrother, D2-hander.
Oh, go fuck yourself, you furry-ass bitch. Jesus Christ, starting off on a good foot.
Our next host has been in more Mexican standoffs than the U.S. Border Patrol, ex-Megajohn.
Yo, what's on, ladies and gentlemen? Ha ha. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
And finally, our quick-witted Princess Diana-obsessed greasy-chin bastard who was dropped on his head from the Big Ben himself, Amblar the Corn.
How fucking dare you?
Oh, wow. We got quite the assortment of people here. From all over the world.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, our goal is here to have the most diverse population as possible. We want to get everyone's approach.
I like it. No, I like it. I'm already liking the vibe. For the listeners,
awesome.
I came in here kind of on fire. I'm like, all right, guys, let's go. All right, ready to do this? All right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go. Because I'm like in a bit of a rush, so I just feel bad. But it's good. Good vibes.
Hey, man. You know what? Let's let the fire under our ass. Absolutely. So, I think Rap had the first topic that we wanted to go into in depth with you here, Bunty.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry about this. The Google Doc is just loading. Should we talk about the racial issues and systematic racism in society, correct? That was essentially what we were gonna go over, right?
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we wanted to get your approach from it, because, you know, once again, you're known on Twitter for having such this wide, kind of real fair outlook on a lot of these social commentary issues. We really wanted to see where you're coming from on those issues, what kind of racism that you kind of experienced naturally throughout your life, you know, what predisposed notions people have about you, you know, those kind of things. We really want to go into depth about that.
Sure. I mean, so do you want me to just start somewhere and just be like...
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, can you give us, like, an overview of how you feel kind of like you've been treated in the North American society?
Okay, well, earlier on, when I was like younger, when I was in elementary school, I feel like everyone kind of like has a hard time in elementary school, especially if you're like not in with you're not one of the cool kids. And I definitely wasn't one of the cool kids. But you know, for me, it wasn't ever like I used to get called the packy often. I was bullied a lot, so I'd get like beaten up by the older kids. Riding back home on the bus was the fucking worst because they just routinely punched me in the back of the head. I wasn't able to go out. Yeah, I wasn't able to go.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I wasn't able to go outside in the street to play because, or I would go sometimes, but I wouldn't be able to really go if there was this one guy out there because he'd always like try to like push me on my bike or like fuck with me, and I've always been there's always been a bit of a fighting spirit in me. I've always wanted to stand up for myself and the thing is that I you know, when I was younger I was weaker.
Yeah.
And I'd try to stand up for myself and I would just get beat up, you know.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing I want to hit on that, because we're both Canadians, so we both, you know, grown up in a very similar culture, I'd say. But as a white guy, I've never had those kind of I've never had those kind of thoughts, and I've never had to think about that. And I think that that's kind of like a real problem with a white guy mentality. Not to say white privilege or pull out any of these social justice warrior words or anything like that.
Listen, I know like a lot of white people that were bullied too, you know?
Yeah.
That happens all the time, but
it was primarily based on your race. Like, that was the main reasons. And the fact that it got physical.
Yes and no. For the guy across the street, it wasn't really about race. It was more about the fact that he was a cunt. You know, for other people, though, because he used to hang out with black people and all that stuff, so he definitely wasn't a fucking racist. He was just a... But, you know, actually, that's not true. He could technically be a racist to, like, Indian people.
So he's just picking on the low-hanging
racial slurs
fruit.
at me, and now that I think about it. And maybe he wasn't being... or maybe actually... I don't think he is a racist. I'm sure if I saw him today, he wouldn't be a racist. You know, they were racially oriented remarks. He used those to hurt me.
I mean, as a kid, you like go
those
for the
words
low-hanging fruit.
The point is that words like fucking packy were thrown around a lot. I was only really called a sand nigger towards when I went on the internet. I've never been called a sand nigger in real life. I've only been called a sand nigger on the internet. And you know, you could chalk.
Oh yeah, everybody's tough on the internet, bro.
Yeah, but it was like it really depended on it was certain circumstances that in which I got called where I was like, okay, this guy's being serious, you know, like I get called a sand nigger nigger regularly.
Yeah, I mean, I see. It's from my perspective, it's hard to believe that someone in any kind of good consciousness would go up to you and call you a packy on the street.
Yeah.
But going the route of sand nigger, I think that's a little farther down the line. I think it's like it's one of those classic internet insults.
Yeah,
it's going
that's
for the
it. And also
extreme.
be called
It's
like
the
a
lack of
terrorist,
comedy, that
Osama
shock
beard, stuff
value.
like that.
That's what
Like
these
that
guys
kind
are
of
really
like
after.
stuff gets thrown around a lot. You know, people oh, you're on the no-fly list. Well, what happened once is that when I posted a photo of me on Facebook, it was just a photo of me on Facebook, like with me with the beard, and someone's like, "This is gonna get you on the no-fly list," and it just was like really, I was like, that triggered me. You know, because it's on Facebook. Facebook is such a different environment than Twitter, because
stuff feels a
Facebook
lot
is
more
everyone.
Yeah,
you
well,
kind of
I mean,
accept
why
people to
wouldn't
come
you?
into your
Well, why
Facebook
wouldn't it?
friend list,
Because
and people
they're
who comment are friends of yours, and if they say something weird, their full name is there, and no one really kind of like, you know, people have the same rapport on Facebook than they do in real life. People don't shy away from saying like busting out brown jokes or like these like terrorist jokes in real life.
well, there's no accountability.
But yeah, but it's just like, but what I'm trying to say is that it's easier for people to go ahead and like laugh in my beard and be like a Osama beard, and no one really kind of thinks about it. They don't really say like, hey, that's fucking racist. And for me, I got triggered by it. I was like, first of all, when I go anywhere in the States, especially, it's almost like I get VIP treatment, because these guys fucking come over, they talk to me, they're smiling with me, and I get right through, and everything's cool. Next thing you know, I'm fucking having a drink at the airport. And so for me, I've never had that issue. But meanwhile, I go with my white friends, right? And these guys are the ones that get searched. My fucking white friends get searched.
That's crazy.
And, yeah.
Oh, I remember I went to New Zealand for 3 months and I was searched at every airport stop check, every layover I was searched. It was unbelievable. I'm actually curious though to you, because I mean, of course it's racist to be comparing you to Osama bin Laden and all that stupid bullshit that the internet does, right?
Yeah, but that's memeing. It's memeing. They're memeing.
Yeah, sure. But like, is it something even more offensive to you, the fact that you're not even from the Middle East? So they're so far off, the actual mark on the racism that there's no form of truth.
What's truly offensive to me is the fact that they're not funny.
Yeah.
That's offensive to me. Like,
true.
I don't like the fact that they think they're funny. I wish I could find a way to tell them that they're not funny, and that so that they never ever speak again because they're not funny. Like, or until they become funny. I don't think I'm like the fucking god of comedy, but I'm a funny guy. I know how to say things in a certain way to make them funny. I know how to make people laugh.
Yeah, I believe it's more in depth than the comedic timing.
You have the comedic timing. I see, and well, it's like, once again, it's those people who don't have the comedic timing. It's those people out there. Yeah, it's those people who rely on the shock value. It's those people who are spreading about those memes. I mean, usually people with comedic timing and original ideas kind of make their own jokes, even if it isn't an offensive.
I've stated this previously with you guys. It's pretty much about comedic timing, the punchline, the witty humor, and all that, which pretty much goes into a well-structured joke and makes it funny. Because if I were to say sand nigger and whatever, and people found it funny, I'm just gonna assume they have like some type of dry sense of humor. That's kind of my take on it, because I want to put emphasis into a joke to make it funny, kind of add some wordplay to it, some metaphors, a couple of references, something like that to add to the flavor of it, adding some more cleverness to it. Yeah, but just a punchline, I mean, it's kind of,
that's what a joke is. It's set up in punchline. So having all these kind of just extreme fucking memes put out there, it's going straight to the punchline. I mean, we haven't even had the foreplay yet, and you're already trying to raw dog me here. Like, what the fuck?
No type of delivery whatsoever. It's just your timing, and that's about it, which a lot of the time is mostly off, and just a punchline, and that's about it, really. That's why it isn't funny, because there's nothing of substance. Like Harambe memes, they just died off so quickly because it's not funny. Garbage. Oh yeah, gorilla got shot. Oh, so funny. Joke's over.
Well, and if anybody's gonna crack on you about your beard, Bunty, the only thing they could really say is that you're a Keemstar clone wannabe, right?
Well, no, they say for some reason they think it's an Osama beard because I'm brown. Even though if you were to compare a side by side of me and Osama, you wouldn't see the same fucking beard at all. It's very boxy. Even Keemstar is like that annoys me at a different level, because it's like, it just goes to show like how they have this box mentality. They're just in a box, right? And their world is their world and their little world. And when they see something that maybe like makes their fucking reality, it makes them question their reality, they like close on, like, oh, clone, Keemstar clone. It's like, no. There's other people with beards. There's other people that are chill.
Well, it's so easy to shut you down. I mean, like, no matter what you do. You see, I think they said this on the Baited podcast, and I think it's the perfect kind of analogy to this, is whoever's the king of a specific genre owns that genre. So no matter what you do, no matter how original you make your content, no matter how much work you put into your own content, you're just seen as a clone. I mean, anybody who is in the commentary community was a Leafy clone. Anyone who is anyone who does daily vlogs is a Casey Neistat clone. That's a big problem.
And now anybody that does a podcast is a baited.
Yeah, I never understood Actually, going back on the Keemstar thing for a second, I don't know why people
Yeah.
call you a Keemstar clone when your beard isn't shaped like a fucking isosceles triangle, for fuck's sake.
No, I don't understand either. It's really just because they're retarded. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
They're just
that's the
retarded.
truth. They're fucking retarded,
Yeah,
honestly.
so I mean, I don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you. And at the end of the day, it's cool if that happens, because if they're gonna do that, and then they're gonna take the time to interact with me. And I don't like anyone who says Keemstar, like, oh, are you like the brown Keemstar? I don't go, fuck you, fucking loser, faggot. Like, I don't do that. I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm like, Keemstar's ugly, and I'm mean, and I'm nice and handsome. So
nice and pretty Bunty.
Well, I mean, you got that laugh down on point. Now, okay, so I'm curious about
is
this,
the British
Bunty.
bloke gonna talk? He hasn't said a fucking word.
I know, I'm curious about that too. Ambler, are you alive?
The British bloke is trying to talk. I just sort of listen and import things where I sort
Oh man,
of have
feel
to.
free to
But-
talk. Feel free to say something. Like, I want to hear that voice. I like that voice.
Oh, well, thank you
That's
very
the
much,
reason
but
he's on.
I do think the internet will be the only place where you hear this sort of explicit memeing racism, because the people who say it can hide behind a screen and they don't have to sort of do it face to face.
Yes, I agree. So, but here's the thing though. I've experienced real racism, and it's a fucking feeling. It really is a feeling, and it's like, you can tell when someone doesn't like you because of the color of your skin, and that's what I've experienced for real. So when people meme, I don't mind the memes. Like, I really don't. I just think that, I like it when they're done properly. I just think that people put too much emphasis in words on the internet, especially when it comes to like them being used in a contextual way. Like, some people don't want to say nigger. Like, why don't you just say nigger? Like, just say nigger.
Well, I mean, it's all that self-sabotaging. It's all that self-censoring thing. But I'm actually curious. I'm curious
Well,
about
no,
your
hold on.
life
I got a
post.
question. I got a question.
Oh,
Hold
sorry.
on.
Go ahead.
Well, now, Bunty, you were born in Canada, right?
Yeah, born and raised. Yeah.
Raised in Canada, and your parents came to Canada. Are they real traditional?
They were for a bit. Yeah, my dad was definitely real traditional. My mom too. Yeah, they met in 3 days and got married.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't arranged or
I
anything
was
like that.
just
My
about
dad
to
like
ask
kind of
that.
like no. My dad like was like, I'm ready to get married, and then they have like this service there where they're just like he can like look through wives.
Almost as impulsive as Keemstar.
Yeah. Well, he just looked through wives. He just looked through wives. Like, that's it. And he was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, this one. And that was it. And that's how I'm
Damn,
here.
Well,
she's the one. We're going, baby.
Going back to racism in the internet, because I'm curious about this, Bunty. How has your experience on the internet, especially in terms of racism, affected you from affected your own view of your own race? I mean, like, presumably you experienced some form of racism in the real world, but that was obviously magnified when you went on the internet. So like, did that kind of make you feel any kind of self guilt towards your own race, or like did that have any mental ramifications?
No, for a while I was pretty self-loathing. Like, I used to always like kind of like try to prove that I'm the whitest guy out of all my friends, and they were like, all right, we get it, you're not that Indian, we get it, because I was especially when there was like another Indian there, and I was like, yo, well, I'm fucking whiter than him, I'm more integrated into the society. I would try to do that, but in the last few years, I just fucking grew out of that, because I was like, fuck it, you know what, I'm me, and this is who I am. I'm just me. Like, I'm Indian. Like, my parents call me, like, I'm Indian of ethnic origin, but anytime anyone asks me what I am, I'm fucking Canadian. I'll tell them I'm Canadian. When people on the internet ask me what I am, I'm Canadian. When people in real life ask me like where I'm from, where my parents are from, I say India. But it's rare that it comes up now. It only comes up on the internet when other kids from other parts of the world are so excited to see someone of like my skin complexion speaking so confidently and like so fucking aggressively and doesn't give a fuck about anything, and is not religious, and they're like, holy shit. It's like perplexing, because a lot of colored people are religious. You notice that like black people people really aren't.
That's more of a
Black
developing
people, for
nation
example,
thing.
like if you see a black person walking down the street in Canada or England or fucking America, you don't think, oh, that guy is religious. You don't think, oh, I should probably ask him if he doesn't eat this, but when you see an Indian guy, you're gonna be like, maybe I should ask him if he doesn't eat beef, or maybe I should ask him if he doesn't eat pork, because like immigration, like this like integration of like multiculturalism has only happened in the last like 60 years.
Oh yeah, and it's only gradually happened to people of more Indian and Asian descent within the last 50 years.
Well, I mean, it's been going on for a while. It's
phenomenon.
been going on for a while, but it's only recently been so large and widespread that masses of immigrants have been coming over into like the western part of the world, as opposed to staying to their own. And I think that this whole like race issue thing, it's two sides, man. It really is two sides. It has a lot to do with white people being like, fucking accept our shit right now or else, and then it also has a lot of like immigrants being like, we just want to be ourselves in this new land, and neither of those can work. And my parents learned that, you know, that they had to kind of adapt to this new reality, that their kid, me, and my sister weren't gonna be these people that were gonna get married to Indians. You know, we weren't gonna get married to Indians. We weren't gonna, like, we may get married to an Indian, like maybe. I don't think I will ever will, because I'm not attracted.
But you have that option. You have that opportunity.
Well, for me, it's like in fact, I'm more inclined to marry someone of another ethnic background. More specifically, actually, I'm more inclined to just get with a white girl, because the reason why I want to get with a white girl, and it has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, I grew up with Disney movies, and the majority of the Disney princesses were white, and for me, the idea of a romance, like a beautiful woman, was heavily reinforced that it was a white girl.
A white girl.
I mean, even though my parents showed me Indian movies, but I was never really attracted because I was just like, it was just so much like mine. It was like that white girls for me were exotic.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like there's many people out there who feel the exact same way.
And also, ultimately, I believe that race mixing is the key to genetic superiority.
Oh, of course. I mean, like, if you think about it, it's honestly scientifically proven.
Yeah, well, dude, it's like you're just mixing fucking genes, dude. Like, you need to do that, otherwise you end up with fucking Cletus with a cleft lip and like a penchant to fucking murder women. That's what you end up with. Like, you end up with this fucking dude.
God damn it, Megajohn. God fucking damn it.
No, here's the thing though. I'm not saying what I'm not saying is, like, if you have sex and if you procreate with someone that's of the same ethnic background, that you're guaranteed a fucking child with medical issues.
No, but it's just not diversifying the gene pool. That's what you're saying, right?
And you know, there's this other side that people that talk about miscegenation. They're like, oh my god, it's so fucking bad. It's so terrible. You're killing the white race. It's like, yo, fuck your race for a second, you idiot. What do you think I'm doing to my race when I'm fucking having sex with a white girl? What do you think's going on there? You think I'm gonna have a fucking pure brown kid come out of her? No.
But they can't see out of their bubble. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's just it. And brown people, I'll tell you something right now. People of color, colored people. I like saying colored people, even though apparently you can't say colored people anymore. You gotta say people of color. Like, there's a fucking difference.
Who fucking cares, honestly?
Exactly, who fucking cares? You're not fucking insulting someone. I'm not saying, oh, well, these niggers here and these honkies are gonna get... No, I'm saying people of color. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm being chill.
You're describing something. How can someone get angry at you for fucking describing, being descriptive?
Exactly. Anyway, so I find that people of color are just as racist as white people. Anyone can be just as racist as somebody else. Like, you got Mexicans that only want to hang out with Mexicans. You got Indians that only want to hang out with Indians. You got black people that only want to hang out with blacks. You got black people and brown people and Asians that look down upon their fellow black, browns, and Asians for dating somebody else. It's like racism, but nobody talks about it because white people are the easy ones to hate.
Man.
Well, my girlfriend's Filipino, and her people do that all the time. They do that all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, me growing up throughout my entire life, my best friend growing up was a Trinidadian guy. And I was the first white guy allowed. I remember this distinctly. I was the first white guy allowed up in their apartment, and that was insane. And that was a big deal. That was a big deal because, you know, that's something that a lot of people don't notice. Absolutely, I think there is a culture of racism from white people towards the minorities, but it also swings the other way. The door always swings the other way.
I hate this whole fucking race shit, honestly, because I believe we shouldn't consider each other by race but respect the culture. Like, for example, Morgan Freeman brought this up about how he doesn't want a Black History Month because he considers it American history, as he stated himself. He asked the interviewer, do you want a White History Month? He says no, and Morgan Freeman responds, well, I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history. Now I'm gonna stop calling you a white man, and you're gonna stop calling me a black man. He asked him how we're gonna end racism, and he's just like, stop talking about it. We just need to stop talking about it.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with that. I don't really have a specific problem with that. I do think there are marginalized races, and I do think having a section amount of time that's devoted, especially in the institutionalized educational system, a special attention towards a specific race that has been scorned before is not necessarily a bad thing.
What I'm saying is that you're respecting the culture, but not considering them black people, but considering them your fellow man. That's the point I'm trying to get across. Like, don't consider me a Mexican man. Just call me by my first and last name or by my alias online. You don't have to point out that I'm a Mexican, you know? It's not really relevant.
No, but I don't see a real problem with recognizing the travesties that happened to one very specific race in American history. I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem in spending some time, especially in a school environment, kind of teaching that. I don't think that's a problem.
I don't recall stating that I'm against that. Matter of fact, I'm actually for teaching about another culture and all that has happened to them leading up to this point, and that's why I said that I don't want to consider anybody by a specific race, because we are all one race, the human race.
Yeah, we are, totally. It's so annoying. That's why I say ethnic background, by the way. I say ethnic background, I don't say race. I do say race mixing, though, but whatever.
Well, I was about to say that's a little bit of a 1970s term there, Bunty.
Oh, really? Is it? Yeah.
I thought you were going to say mulatto for a couple seconds later.
No, yeah.
I remember learning this from history when people were like, back in the old days, oh, race mixing is a sin. I think that was where in the Texas law or some shit, it stated that race mixing was illegal at the time, like, you know, back in the fucking 50s and 40s and all that shit. I found a source a while back, but I can't remember where I fucking found it. I'll post it when I find it, but it was fucked up and interesting at the same time.
Oh, well, all that propaganda existed so long before.
Damn. I'd be breaking that law today. Shit. Oh yeah, Bunty, that video you put out when you were actually telling people is the same thing I've been trying to say forever. Racism is not exclusive to white. And that's one thing that, as a white person, drives me nuts.
It is so annoying.
Like, I'm not seen as a white person, I'm seen as a racist. I feel like whenever I go and fill out some medical forms and they ask me my ethnicity, they got African American, Hispanic. I think they should just have racist on there because I have to mark that, you know?
It's funny.
Because it seems like it's so... it seems like it's exclusive to me.
Well, I mean, you know, your accent is telling.
It is fucking annoying, and I think that we're coming to a point, though. You know, I don't think Donald Trump is going to be the best president ever, but we're coming to a point where...
oh, this sets white people back right here.
No, it doesn't set white people back. It sets white people back on social media right now, and in mainstream media, because the majority of mainstream media is far fucking left. You know, it's coming to a point now where everyone is coming onto a platform in which they will truly be able to express themselves, and I think that platform is Twitter. I think Twitter is booming now. I think that Twitter is booming because President Trump is so fucking serious about tweeting out shit on Trump, fucking with the stock market, all this shit, because he's calling out companies, being like, hey, losers, or something like that. Like, he's just like that guy. And people are suddenly going on Twitter, and people are suddenly interacting with each other, and they're forced to interact with each other because people are going to his page to be like, oh my god, he's so shit. Or some people are going to like his page to be like, you know, like, oh, I fucking love him, and then they're clashing, and then of course they're also going and checking out other stuff, and there's people like, it's just everyone's just kind of like talking to each other.
But here's the problem. I mean, it's nothing but a fucking civil war right now. That's the problem.
It's definitely a civil war of ideas. It's a huge civil war of ideas. I think that in 100 years from now...
the problem in all the fucking, all this political sphere that's going on right now is everyone has to be partisan and everyone has to take a fucking extreme view.
Well,
that's the problem.
That's why I said 100 years from now, this is gonna be looked upon historically. Like, much like the Renaissance, this is gonna be looked upon in that regard. We're gonna be talking about moments like this in history. So, you know, and kids are gonna be fucking learning about the great Buntyking, the wise, you know, the guy who... no, I'm not gonna...
I'm happy you're keeping your ego in check.
I mean, Bunty, you might be able to actually hear those people from the future say that, because if science continues to advance the way it is, we might be able to become immortal within the next 50 years or so.
Oh, do you actually believe any of that shit? They've been saying that shit since the fucking 60s,
I mean, it's fucking science.
Dude. They've
I'll
been
tell
saying
you right
that
now.
shit
Anything
since
is
the
possible.
fucking 60s.
It's not impossible, because if we can stop ourselves from having a limit on reproduction, then we might be able to live forever. You know what I'm saying? Anything is possible in the realm of science.
Yeah, well, anything is honestly anything
monkeys.
is possible.
We're monkeys.
Anything is possible.
I mean, we're monkeys, and
That's what I'm saying. Science is science, and it only advances as human knowledge does. So I think we need to just keep on.
We may never have to eat.
Exactly. If there's a chance where my physical brain can be implanted into a robot and make me a cyborg, that would be dope.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, man. I would love to have the internet wired into my fucking skull.
Oh, would you? Why would you do that?
Why would you not, dude? That's fucking cool.
Why would you want to be immortal?
Because that would be dope as shit. Why would you not want to be immortal?
It's a little fucking quote. I don't know where the fuck it was from, but it was too late to explore the world, too early. Born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore the stars. Born just in time for fucking Britney Spears and all this bullshit. You know, like I would love to fucking fly. Like if there was an opportunity to board a ship that's gonna explore deep space and, you know, and be able to have like...
You signing up for the Mars trip? Or?
No, not one that's like a return and like I'll never ever return. You know, I'm talking about like if we fucking developed like jump drives and shit like that and we're able to come back to Earth whenever we fucking wanted to, I would fucking sign up for space right away. Fuck yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, everyone.
Not
would,
everyone,
man.
not everyone.
We all
Everyone
want that
wouldn't, but
Mass
I
Effect
definitely would
technology.
because I love, like games like Mass Effect have resonated
man,
with
I
me just
can't
from
wait
like
for
a very
Mass
personal level
Effect.
because
Shit.
like I just. But then again, here's the thing: that shit's not gonna happen until we fucking figure out what's going on here and when we start warring with each other. Because if we're at war with each other, then what the fuck are we gonna do to get to with other? No, it's a complete madness. Essentially, we were talking about is So we're gonna look back at this period in history, in history,
progressing.
and be like, oh shit, this is what went down, and this is why we got here, because the word faggot and all these words that we express so much importance on, they're not going to be as impactful in the future. We're going to have another word.
Faggot's going to mean something
Years from
completely
now.
different.
We're going to have another word from years from now. We're going to have another word. So
Just on that, I don't really understand this unnecessary taboo around words such as, like you said, faggot and, excuse my Keemstar here, but nigger, and even just regular swears at this point. The moment a government or organization starts to police language is the moment it becomes destructive towards the welfare of a free and open society, which is what we stand for. It's an Orwellian nightmare to be policing a language. Now, I know you're not offended by my use of the word nigger, Bunty, but because I clearly don't mean it, but even if you're not offended by it, by my use of the word, someone else will be. So
It's insane.
my question is, how can you police offense? Because being offended is completely subjective, and the taboo around words like, again, pardon my Keemstar, nigger, is an impeach upon the freedom of speech and the freedom of thought, and that is something we would have seen in the 19th century, not the 21st.
You're so eloquent.
I know, which is, wow, man, that was so fucking smart. What a fucking guy. That's why you're quiet. You're busy fucking calculating a fucking sentence in that fucking Oxford English dictionary brain of yours, bro. Good shit.
Oh yeah, Ambler is quality over quantity.
Dude, we were talking about this before. It's like he hardly says anything, and then he comes out with something so fucking powerful that we all just fucking stop. Like,
It's
wow.
fucking amazing. What a good podcast. Pottymouth Podcast.
Hey, I would like to argue, in a sense, about some of the shit that Amblar's saying. I would like to argue that if people are trying to lobby against certain words, just fucking lobby against it. For fuck's sake, there are organizations lobbying against certain stuff like limiting how much word power you have, because the minute someone's fucking triggered, you get a mandatory 10-year sentence slapped on you in a fucking penitentiary. Like, what the fuck?
No, but we also have to acknowledge those professional cry bullies. Like, they do have a right to be offended by those words. It's
They
their
do.
expression of speech,
Yeah.
just like how it's our expression of speech to be able to say you're a
Exactly,
fucking faggot.
but
so we have to have
needs
respect
to
on
happen-
both ends. That's the problem.
Exactly. They just need to fuck off. They just need to fuck off, do their thing, and we'll fuck off, do our thing.
Exactly.
And the people who want to meet in the middle, and we'll meet in the middle, and then eventually things will just start flowing back and forth. The reality is that, like, yeah, man, dude, free speech is super important, and I've begun to realize that even racists need to be brought to the table, because they're racist because there's something up in their life.
Yeah.
They're racist because they were brought up a certain way, and we have to, like, people who we need to reach out to them and be like, yo, dude, it's okay. It's all good, man.
They're not gonna become unracist. They're not just gonna have a fucking clairvoyant
because-
moment and just like all of a sudden become
Exactly. They're
not
not
racist.
gonna
We
be
have
like-
to
they're
have
not
a
gonna be like, oh,
discussion
hold
and
on,
stop
I'm-
fucking censoring people.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
There's so much of this
Exactly.
fucking like bullshit social justice warrior shit that the left pulls, and there's alt-right bullshit that the right pulls. It's once again,
Yeah,
it goes
so-
back to the extremes. It goes back to the extremes because the only people who are fucking censoring other people's words and other people's expressions are these people who are fucking professionally offended on either side of the pond. It's the fucking extremes that
Yeah.
are the problem in our society.
And that's the only thing that stands out is the
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
And that's what I'm saying. If they lobby against certain fucking words that trigger them, that's why I'm saying lobby against them, because that's all you can morally and legally do. Just lobby the fact that they're trying to suppress freedom of speech in general. You know what's funny and unfortunate is that I've obtained a fucking misdemeanor charge in my home state for offending someone, or really more specifically, I was continuously cursing and swearing on the bus, and I was told many times by the bus driver not to.
I think that's more indicative of your country.
No, the thing is though, is that I was talking with the lads, I'm over here cursing, having a good time on my way home from school. Next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I'm slapped in the fucking face with a citation. I have to go to court, I have to go to quote-unquote therapy, which I didn't fucking need at all. All I did was curse on the bus, and that was such bullshit, man.
Rap. How old are you?
I'm 20, dude.
You're 20. So a city bus?
No, not a city bus, a school bus. This happened when I was like in 8th grade, man.
fucking cunt.
In 8th grade, and you got hit with a fine because you were not detention.
Yeah.
Not detention. You weren't given detention. You were given a fucking fine.
Yeah, I was given a fucking citation by a police officer. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I assumed it was my teacher because I cursed a shit ton in her class too. Like, don't get me wrong, for fuck's sake. This fucking podcast fits me so well because I have such a potty mouth to this day, but I was a hell of a lot worse in fucking school. Anyways, on the bus, I was repeatedly cursing because I was talking with the lads, and all of a sudden, the fucking bus driver, I guess, signed some legal shit to get me to obtain a citation, which was some bullshit, which, by the way, was a $300 citation, and of course, I did my 3 months of probation and my community service and all that shit just for talking with the lads and cursing on my way back from school.
Yo, before anyone says anything, hold on. I just asked if you were fined, and then you were like, "No, I was given a citation." That's a fucking fine, bro. The fuck, $300? $300 fucking dollars to fucking swear? That's insane. That's disgusting.
No, I didn't fucking pay for it. I just had to.
No, you had to fucking do time. That's stupid.
No, I didn't do time. Well, if we're talking about community service, then yeah, but not in juvie.
No, you had to do you didn't do time. You did fucking community service. What the fuck,
yes.
dude? Who gives a shit what you say?
I know, exactly. That's such bullshit.
I think that's more indicative of, the states have so much control, individual states. So a conservative state, a fairly religious state is gonna have these
Cunts.
kind of moral
Cunts.
laws. Yeah, I mean, it's complete cunty. It's so fucking cunty. It's really like I'm not sure why you don't use your freedom of speech as a federal right. I mean, like, presumably that would get you off the hook on that kind of situation.
Oh man, the states are fucked up, bro.
If I could, I would have fucking sued the state of Texas if I had money for a fucking lawyer, but since I had a case against me, like my first and last name against the state of Texas, just because of a fucking stupid bullshit reason, like cursing on the fucking school bus, day in and day out, with the lads, but the bus driver found it so offensive or tiring, repetitive whatsoever because she was so tight of my fucking mouth.
That's sad. It's sad. It's really sad. It's really sad to see a society go down to that. It's really sad to see a society censor like that. It directly contradicts your First Amendment. It directly
Exactly. It's not like I fucking screen bomb at a fucking airport, in which case that would be a justifiable cause to hand a citation because, you're wasting people's time and resources. Swatting, yeah, I guess that's a freedom of speech, but then again, you're wasting emergency resources like a fucking absolute cunt and all that stuff. What the fuck?
No, that's not even freedom of speech. I don't know what you just said there. That was complete.
That's a bad example. That's a fucking bad example.
That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because it was a shit example, the point is that it was fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I know. It's bullshit. That's fucking insane, and I think that's complete. I think it's complete madness, and I can't believe you got hit with that. I've never even heard of that happening. I can't even imagine that happening.
Well,
I've just been told to shut up.
I've been told to
like, maybe you shouldn't talk that way. I've been given detention. I've been suspended from school. That's complete. That I understand, but a fucking paid fine like that, I would have to pay $300.
I didn't pay $300. All I did was community service. That's about it.
But you did something. You had to do something. You were put out of your comfort zone, and you had to go ahead and you had to fucking be this dude. This ugly.
Yeah, it all ties to my bad habits, honestly, because she told me on multiple times to stop, but I just couldn't fucking help myself. It's such a bad fucking habit.
But you should have just been given detention and fucking been like told to fucking.
Yeah, but the bitch went silently and filed some shit with the fucking police, and I was just hit with that citation. It's fucking retarded, honestly.
Oh my god, that's fucked up.
I think that's really telling of the American civilization. I think that's really telling of the American society.
I think it was just my state only, so.
Well, I mean, you're not the only Republican state out there, man. You're not the only right-wing state out there. So if it's happening there, imagine what's happening in Kansas.
Absolute madness. I don't know. You know what? But point is, we're coming to a point now where people are coming up and they're like, "Fuck this." Anyone can say whatever they want, and it's coming to the point where, yeah, people are gonna say some really mean things, and people are gonna feel empowered to say really mean things, but they're gonna say those mean things, and they were gonna say those fucking mean things anyway. And you know what? I'm kind of glad that they're saying this mean shit out in the open, so we finally know who the fuck they are, and be like, all right, bye. If you really want to say bye, or be like, hey man, why are you saying that? Let's go ahead and talk about it. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not, I'm never gonna be the guy who's gonna be like, fuck you, get out of my face. The only time I'll be like, fuck you, get out of my face is if I can detect that they're being overtly hostile.
Yeah.
But if they're just saying, oh my god, that's so fucking gay, I'm not gonna be like, hey, you shouldn't fucking say that. I fucking hate you for saying that, you fucking homophobe.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to the whole racism angle, because I have a question for you, Bunty, on this. Have you on your specifically your social media, have you noticed a discernible difference in the amount of racist comments that you're getting pre and post the election?
Here's my deal.
No.
No, so you have not
fucking,
really
yo,
seen...
I've got nothing but love since Trump's been president, actually.
Really?
Actually, yeah, I've got nothing. Yeah, honestly, like the
That's
racism
surprising.
has died down a lot.
That's
But first of all,
surprising.
Twitter video really helps when I'm fucking there and I'm talking the way I'm talking. Like nobody, like if you did not know I was brown and I'm on this podcast, you'd be like, all right, another white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
I mean, but still, I mean, like, you've kind of gone into this internet stage where you've kind of gotten barraged with all these kind of different, new racist insults like sand nigger and stuff like that. I'm surprised that like, that these racists and these fucking assholes on these social medias haven't felt more empowered by the Trump campaign to feel like it's like because a lot of these guys I feel like feel those things and think those things, but they don't necessarily say them for fear of backlash. And I feel like there's some kind of empowerment from Trump's election.
No, but they were already able to say it online. That's the thing. They were already able to say it online. Like, they didn't need.
Sure, but I feel like Trump's election kind of validated that kind of thought process. It
validated people to fucking be able to just say what they wanted, what they actually wanted, and the people that really feel like they want to say something are the people who are like, why can't I call my friend a fag? Those are what they were saying. Well, why can't I call my friend a fag, dude? I understand that gay people were oppressed. I understand that, but like, I have sympathy for them. But why do I not need to use this word? Why, like, I'm not gonna go and use it around everywhere. I don't go and say fag everywhere. Why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah.
It makes no sense to do that. I use it with the people that I would use it with. I would use it with you guys, I would use it with, like, my friends. I wouldn't go and say it on a public forum just like that, Like, I know I do it on Twitter sometimes, but like, that's my domain. Like, my Twitter is my domain. And whoever's there is choosing to interact with that domain, and then they can go ahead and say whatever they want. But when I'm out in the public where I don't own property, I'm not gonna go to someone's house and just call him a faggot unless I know the guy and he's my friend, and that's it. It's not the way it works. So it's like in using that word, they're making you. It's just, there's so many different things. Like, of course, there's also like
they're trying to make you feel like shit for just using the word,
or make you feel like shit for not voting Hillary because you didn't want to vote for Hillary, but they're telling you didn't vote for Hillary. A vote on Trump was a vote against women. What?
Yeah, okay, that,
no,
I mean,
not.
like, see, that's a problem once again with the fucking left. It's these extremes. We've gone over this.
It's bad. It's like, yo, shut the fuck up. It's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Listen, I'm not voting for Hillary because I don't like Hillary. And you know what? It was so, like, it was so, whenever obviously as Canadians, we take a great interest in the American elections because it matters to us, because our economy is heavily affected by us. There's so much trade going with us. We like give a shit. Your neighbors. So the thing is that, like, when I had to tell people, like, oh, really, like, when it came down, I was stoked for Bernie, and now in retrospect, I think that maybe Bernie wasn't the right one. I think that the next
Bernie's not ruling out possibility for 2020.
I think that in the next election,
so we may see Bernie again. We may see Bernie again.
Well, no, or you may see someone completely different. You may see someone, an independent, who is for all the things that are good, with the attitude of Trump, with Trump's attitude, with Trump's like, I don't give a fuck about you, Fox News.
Well, I mean, the reason Trump became so popular was because he ran on that populist stance. He really read the mood of the country, and was able to develop. Here's the thing. Both Bernie Sanders and Trump were very similar in that regard. They were both populists. The only reason in my opinion, the only reason the election turned out the way it is because the fucking DNC colluded against Bernie.
Oh, the DNC, exactly. So that's the thing. What I'm trying to get at is that anytime someone asks me about Hillary, it was ugly for me to say I'd vote for Hillary, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. I don't know. I guess Hillary. That seemed like the biggest. This is the most contentious election I've ever seen. And
it was because it was two extremes. It was two extremes. You had and it was so apparent. It was absolutely so apparent that DNC was so corrupt. You can go online, and by the way, and you can find out that the DNC was funding certain protesters to go to Trump
and try to instigate them and instigate
specific people. It was really fucked
up. It's completely fucked. It's completely fucked. And here's the thing. It's the common practices of the extremes. It's once again, I think the major problem in pretty much all of politics, other than getting money out of politics, which is probably one of the number one things we need to do, is these extremes. It's almost like the console wars type favors that people have towards one individual side, and the fact that they're not ever willing to be pragmatists in any real stretch of the imagination. They're going to be idealistic, and they're going to stick to their idealistic mission, and they're never going to compromise, and that's a huge problem.
Or like Keemstar supporters versus non-Keemstar supporters.
No, well, but here's the thing. You want to talk about Keemstar? Let's talk about Keemstar. Let's go from politics to Keemstar.
All right.
I don't dislike Keemstar. Well, no, actually, sorry. I don't dislike.
Hold on. Hold
Sorry?
on. Let me touch on one more thing about the politics. I was just gonna say that growing up in the '90s, I have never seen as much racism as I've seen now, and that's mainly because of social media and the internet and the progression in technology. Maybe the racism and shit was always there, but as a youngster, as in school, I was never exposed to any of it. And that's kind of like, I think you and me kind of grew up the same way, because you said that you were trying to prove to your friends that you were the whitest brown kid in the room, right? I was trying to prove to all my friends that I was the blackest white kid in the room until I finally
Yeah,
figured
exactly.
out it.
So here's the thing. There's this
I want to go to Keemstar though.
yeah, we'll go to Keemstar after, but the thing that I've noticed is that these last 4 years have been the most racially charged. And for me, racism stopped being a thing for a while. And all of a sudden now it's this thing that's bubbling up again.
I see. Here's the thing. I don't think racism was never not a thing. I just think it was a thing that was not addressed because it was not seen as politically appropriate until a disturber like Trump came in the picture that gave these people the validity to have their voice. I think these people have always had these racist positions. I think they've always had them. They've only felt like they can come out about them.
Dude, it's the mass media controlling people, all right? It's these people in charge. It's these people in charge that are there to tell people
Sure, but most people
act,
on the internet aren't watching the mainstream media. So how can it be the mainstream media? Most people on the internet are watching all these, new age media types. All the way from Breitbart on the right to Young Turks on the left.
That's not true. Dude.
Sure.
Don't forget the older
but
people still rely on mainstream media.
The majority of voters, by the way, are probably more active on Facebook than they are on Twitter, and those are two different kind of completely social, like different social platforms. If you think about it, Facebook is really just an extension
why did
of real
Trump
life.
win? Well, why did Trump win and use Twitter as such an amazing media?
Well, that's just it. Because Trump is so vocal, and the only place for people to really hear him was on Twitter. He wasn't on Facebook posting; he was on Twitter posting, and that's where people were hearing him. And the reality is that there were people who did not use Facebook and did not use Twitter. Other people who used Facebook and said, that they were Hillary supporters, when the reality is they don't like Hillary. They didn't like her. They wanted Trump. So the thing is, here's what it is. The media have made it appear to people that in order to be not considered racist, you got to follow these sets of rules and you got to do this. And in the meantime, what's been happening is that these words that are demonized by the media are still being used by the people who really don't like black people or really don't like brown people. And they're being used in a malicious way and an actual hurtful way. And it's keeping people in line. It's keeping all these people who are like doing this in one school of thought, and no one's really questioning anything, because they're not questioning anything because they think that they're good people. They think, oh, I'm a good person. But
I understand your point there. But would you say that the media's changed their tactics in the last 4 years to become more based on racism?
Oh, sure, absolutely, big time. It's huge. All this identity politics.
But they've had this. They've had these kind of conversations. They've had these kind of topics since Bush. I can remember since Bush on the mainstream media. I think it's because of Trump gave these guys fucking validity to have their arguments.
No, dude, man, it's been. I'm telling you, before even Trump announced that he was going to be president, it was getting to that point where things were getting really crazy. People were just talking about it. It's just this. It's been stewing. It's been stewing because I'm telling you, man, I was like, it was not a problem to say faggot in 2010, in 2011. It became a problem at some point. It became a problem, and I understand.
That's a good point. I think, okay, all right. I think that's enough fucking politics. Let's get on Keemstar.
So Keemstar, we were talking drawing a relation between people talking about the war of ideals, right? You have people who are Keemstar fans and people who aren't Keemstar fans. Like, listen, I don't hate Keemstar by any means. I really dislike the guy, but I dislike him because he's in many ways illiterate. I don't, and that I think some could classify as classism. It really isn't. It's just the fact that it's
more intellectualism than anything.
He wasn't handed the short stick in life. He really wasn't. He's privileged, and he's like I'm not talking about white privilege. I'm just talking about privilege in the sense that he grew up with the things that I've grown up with. So he's privileged in my sense. So he was able to get educated. He was able to go and do it. And yeah, maybe he's got an issue. He's got like an actual learning problem. But the reality is, there's other people with dyslexia that are able to read. They're able to go ahead and do this stuff there because they just choose to. And even beyond that, you can even choose to be intelligent through other means. And the fact of the matter is, he isn't. He's a buffoon.
Ignorance is a choice in this day and age.
Man, in this day and age, with a vast amount of information being at your fucking fingertips, ignorance is kind of a fucking choice. Even though a lot of information can be skewed, you can still look more into it. For example, me, usually if I'm going to go over a serious matter, I like to research at least 10 sources for each topic that I'm talking about. Like, let's say, for example, Big Daddy K versus Rakim beef.
Yeah.
I would go to 10 sites in order to see if I can get a consistent average, because if one is wrong, then it's easy to see my percentage and consistency accumulated through 10 sources, so if one is wrong, I have 90%
That's actually a
consistency
really
and
good
so
idea.
forth.
That's a really good idea, like going to 5 different sources or stuff like that and seeing whatever and comparing them. Yeah.
Well, that's also the problem. Nobody
That's pretty
fucking
good.
fact checks anymore. No one fact checks.
Yeah. So the thing, but the thing is beyond all that, what I'm trying to say is that there's some things that he does properly, like the fact that he's able to rabble rouse efficiently, and that's an admirable quality. And I like see that. I'm like, well, this is a good thing that he does, because I can learn from this, and I definitely learn from it because of the way he presents himself on camera. Like, he doesn't have, I wouldn't say he is charismatic, but he's not like. He's
entertaining. Colossal said it perfectly.
Wait.
not,
I think
he's
Keem
not
is
entertaining.
charismatic, but I think what you're trying to say is he's not charming. Is that right?
Yeah. He's charismatic, but he's not charming. So he's definitely but the thing is that he's good at business. Like he understands YouTube. He understands people. He definitely understands people, and he knows how to talk to them in the way that he wants to talk to them. I think he's slipping.
He considers himself this alpha personality, and he's almost taken that whole role upon himself.
Oh my god! And it's so obvious that he considers himself alpha, because you can tell. But it makes him so beta.
It's unbelievable.
It makes him beta,
it's so obvious. It's a silverback gorilla beating his chest.
It makes him beta, dude. I can tell the way when he talks. He just talks like a fucking beta male. And I'm not saying this because I think I'm alpha, or anything like that. I feel like if I were to speak objectively about myself, though, I definitely give off an alpha vibe. I don't fucking give off this dude that like.
I'll tell you, I don't hate the guy. I just wish he would fall off the face of the fucking earth.
But like with Keem, it's overcompensation.
It's overcompensation.
That's what it
big
is.
time.
Yeah, it's a silverback gorilla beating his chest.
But the thing is, like, I'm able to go ahead and see the positive qualities in Keem, and they're there, and I definitely respect his drive. I do.
Yeah, I respect his motivation, but that's about it.
Oh, I mean, you have to. No, he's part of YouTube royalty. He's been on the site for so long. You have to respect him and his drive for that. You see, I think Colossal said it the best. Keem's a cunt. Keem's a complete and utter cunt. He's an entertaining cunt, but that does not stop him from being a fucking cunt. And I think that's the bottom line, really, on everyone's opinion of Keem, other than his diehard fans that'll follow him on whatever stream platform he wants.
Speaking on Keem being an entertaining cunt, anyone think the new baited podcast they put out with Clown was anything entertaining? Because to be honest, it was just like dry babbling when Chad and Andley rolled into the scene. I don't know. Also, I posted on Twitter that Baited should have a new name change once they lost the Clown, and I quote, "The new Baited podcast needs a new name change. How about Faded? It seems after the Clown left, the quality of the podcast itself has faded. To be honest with you guys, the new Baited podcast is honestly dry and...
I disagree with you. I definitely think it's interesting. I definitely think it's entertaining. I still as hell listen to it. I just think they should be... I mean, I see why they don't change the name for your branding's sake, but at the same time, it's not Baited. It's not Baited. I'm sorry. It doesn't have that same feeling. It doesn't have that same energy.
No, it definitely is baited because...
Oh yeah, we're all getting baited into listening to this.
Well, yeah, but baited in a sense where... Yeah, technically we're getting baited because we're into watching and listening to... pretty much talk about him on our podcast and all that stuff.
And once again, Keemstar does it masterfully, and so does Chad. Chad is learning too, and Andy is in a way also learning.
Andy's actually the voice of reason.
Once again,
that's wild.
Well, they also know how he is, but they know how to rabble rouse, man. Like, look, the 10-minute that literally 2 minutes of Keem talking within the first 12 minutes sparked controversy between myself, Leon, Ricky, Chad, and Daniel.
It's ingenious.
It's like fucking. It's just, dude. It's like.
Do you think Keem had anything to do behind the anything for views' comment?
Dude, for sure.
Yeah?
Dude, it's all
do you think that Keem was
taking
taking a personal swing at you guys?
And when I was fucking talking shit on Twitter, it's because I'm playing. I'm like, you know what? You want to fucking play? I'm gonna play the game well because I'm fucking good at this. I've been dealing with people in real life, and I can be aggressive in real life. You know, I'm not just aggressive on the internet. The person you're talking to right now, you'd be talking to him in real life, 100%. I wouldn't be toning it down in real life. We'd be sitting at a bar. I'd be fucking talking, saying the exact same fucking things, and I'd walk out with whatever walk I fucking have. I don't give a shit. Meanwhile, Keemstar and fucking Chad, they're not the same. I can guarantee you they're not the fucking same. No,
you can see in that Kansas City little fight video he had, where Keem was just he was not about shit until that guy was going outside till he was being ejected. Then Keem wanted to be about something then.
Well, once again, it goes back to his overcompensation. As soon as he knows the threat's gone, then he's gonna be a tough guy.
One thing I always do, by the way, is I never ever tell someone I'm gonna fight them if I want to fight them. I wait for them to go to the bathroom, and I'll fucking follow them in while their fucking dick is out, and I'll fucking mash their fucking face up against the tile wall.
Well, that's like a sucker punch. Why are
I
you
don't
pulling
give a
that
fuck.
shit, Bunty?
I
What
win.
The fuck? What the
I don't give a fuck. I fight to win,
but in a
man.
dirty fucking way,
Yeah,
man.
good.
In a
And then they're
dirty,
never gonna
dirty
fucking,
way. Have
and then
some
they'll
honor.
never cross me again. They'll never cross me
Bunty's
again.
a savage motherfucker.
Well, it kind of comes down to like fighting dirty and mostly kind of like self-defense in a
But it's not
situation. Kind of
self-defense,
like
you're
First of all,
fucking instigating it.
hold on, guys. Cause shh, I would never do this. I would never do this. I would never do this. I would actually never do this.
whether you like it or not, whoever has the first
I'm a lover.
yeah.
You're a lover, not a
Whoever
fighter.
has the first blow, a lot of the times comes out on top. Of course, it's not the golden rule. It's not a guarantee because you can get hit first, not get KO'd, and throw a wild left hook. Next thing you know, your fucking enemy's on the floor fucking wondering where the fuck he's at. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times when you get sucker punch or when you see sucker punches, even in fucking fight videos, the person who struck them makes them spasm on the floor because they didn't fucking expect it. It's usually the punches you don't expect that knock you the fuck out. There's also a self-defense martial art called Krav Maga where it strategizes in dirty fighting tactics because the philosophy is to survive. So
I mean, sure, but but you know, you bring up the Krav Maga. That's also against a fucking enemy or a combatant that's ready to fight you. My problem is just the sucker punch angle. Is the unexpected angle. If you're gonna fight, fucking fight like a man. Fight like a fucking man.
I didn't mean to trigger you. I didn't mean to trigger you, D2 handler. But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something though right now. The point I was trying to make is that I won't tell anyone I'm down to fight them. I'll just if they really get me aggressive to the point where I feel like I'm in danger, I'm gonna leave. And if I feel like they're really treating on me, then I'll just like not even like I generally what it is I avoid those situations in real life. But if it came to the point where someone was like being really aggressive, I think I would just attack them out of nowhere if I really
Like
felt
you were
attacking.
threatened.
Like,
Yeah, no,
it
it's-
wouldn't be
yeah.
like it wouldn't necessarily be I followed them in the bathroom. It may just be in their face, and I just do it. But at the end of the day, you fight to win, and he's talking about Krav Maga, and as the reality is that I would probably go for their eyes. I'd probably bite them. I'd probably do something fucking crazy. I'd do something nuts, and I'd win, and they'd talk shit. They'd be like, "Well, he bit me, he did this." I'll guess what, faggot, I won.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you were just a much less honorable man.
it really shouldn't fucking matter, man. A fight's a fight. It's not a fucking organized boxing match or an MMA match. I mean, like seriously, come
If
on.
you want organized boxing, if you want MMA, if someone wants MMA, if someone is like, Sir, I disagree with you, I do not like you, challenge you to a boxing fight in this day's time, then I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I'll accept that, and then we'll go into the
Let's
boxing.
go get our
and they'll
licenses right now.
Exactly. And they used to do that back in the day. Used to do that. That was fucking sick. And now they don't do that anymore. And now we got all these people who are all fucking repressing shit. They should bring that shit back, man. Boxing rings.
Well, back in the day, they used to take 10 paces and draw. So
Well, we're not talking about the wild fucking West. We're talking about
Oh,
old-fashioned
okay.
bare-knuckle boxing from like the 1900s where it was very, very fucking rough. Like back
yeah.
then, a lot of the time, yeah, they fought close-fisted like everyone else did and does now to this day. But some, once they made contact, they unballed their fist and they would make like a tiger palm and would just slash their own enemies and just dig their fucking nails and just fucking gash and slash them. Or they would even grab them by the ear and fucking
That was
yank
nasty.
them. Like, Jesus fuck. It was rough as fuck back in the 1900s. Like, it wasn't even straight boxing
Had
at
to
that
fucking
point. It was just a
outlaw that
fucking
shit.
brawl. Like, god damn. That's just learning a little bit about boxing history from its core roots. It was fucking crazy back in those days. They didn't give a single shit.
I don't know
even
how the hell we got to
this.
this topic.
I think we were talking about. We're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Keem acting all tough and stuff like that. Yeah, but I was just saying that I don't really act tough. I just kind of chill. First of all, I don't need to because I'm over 6 feet tall. I don't look skinny. Like I do have really tight pants, but they don't look overwhelmingly skinny. Like I look. Yeah, my pants are almost painted on.
So they make your package look
No,
huge.
not even. They're so
That's what
tight
that's
that
for.
they just like my
No?
penis gets like tucked in between my fucking balls. It's like really
You
fucking tight.
fucking guy.
Yeah,
Also,
but-
you're trying to trick people, eh?
All right, and I think on that note, I would like to thank every single person out there for listening to the second episode of the Pottymouth Podcast with our special guest, Bunty. Bunty, before we let you go here, is there anything that you want to promote on our Rinky Dink podcast over here?
Yeah, sure, man. If you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Buntyking, and you can also go ahead and shout to me on YouTube, fucking Buntyking on YouTube, and also you can also go and fucking head over to Keemstar's page and hit that unsub button, and there we go. That's it. sub to scarce.
Well,
Sub to scarce.
I cannot have what I
Getting all
Sub to
Sub to
scarce,
Sub to
guys. Sub to
scarce.
scarce.
All right. Well, on that note, I love you all. I hope you all have a fantastic night. Don't remember to leave a like and a comment. Love you all. Peace.
Peace out, guys.